All right, good morning, everyone. I call to order the meeting of the CCS Executive Committee on Wednesday, January 8th at 10 a.m. Beth, will you please call the roll?
Austin,
Here.
Bertucci,
Here.
Dorfman,
Here.
Fiolic,
Here.
Leffler,
Here.
Lemke,
Here.
Livergood.
Here.
For CCS, we have Rebecca Malinowski, Deborah Wishmeyer, and Beth Stone.
Okay, are there any additions to the agenda? All right, seeing none, we will consider the agenda adopted. Any public comment? Okay. Item number 5 is the consent agenda. There are several items on consent. I'll just give everybody a chance to glance at them. Would anyone like anything removed from the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through H?
So moved.
So moved. Pam.
Anthony was a first. Pam, were you second?
Sorry, can we confirm Anthony was first
Yes.
and Susan second?
I think
Pam.
Pam, were you the second?
Or Pam?
I think
Yeah,
I
I'll
might have been.
second. Austin Bertucci. And roll call vote, please.
Austin,
Yes.
Bertucci,
Yes.
Dorfman,
Yes.
Fiolic,
Yes.
Leffler,
Yes.
Lemke. Yes. Livergood.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and now on to new business. I will turn over to Rebecca for updates on new and potential members.
Things are moving forward with Vernon. Mieko Landers will lead the Vernon area project as she did the last 2 library editions. So she is already getting started with their project team. They will be in our office coming up on the 21st, and then I will be out at Vernon on the 14th for Anne's director orientation. I'll also be doing Melissa Gardner's orientation on the 13th, as I never did one for her. I just felt like she was always part of the team. So I'll be out at libraries on that Monday and Tuesday. Mount Prospect and Waukegan, we're still kind of wrapping up loose ends and continuing to work on deduplication. And then kind of the exciting bits I've included in your packet on page 60 to 61. The survey results from our non-member survey. So the long range planning team has already seen these results. Some of the dates in here are a little arbitrary. It was free text, and I think, for example, Barrington said, I don't know, maybe within the next 5 to 10 years. So that's a pretty broad range. But it's kind of nice that the libraries that are interested in CCS have kind of self-selected into these different groups of time. So Wakanda, as I noted in the packet, when we originally talked with them, maybe like October, November of last year, they were like, oh yeah, we just signed a 5-year contract with Innovative. So, in a few years, we'll want to look. And then, through conversations with them, they've gotten very excited and they want to move forward as soon as possible. So we are looking, I have requested that they complete the membership application before we have further discussions, since they're kind of digging into the nitty-gritty of like payment schedules and things. And I was like, well, we need a formal quote first. So we are expecting some more movement from Wakanda. And then Rolling Meadows, they have a plan to evaluate and make a determination about consortium membership the first half of this year. So we'll see what information they would like from us or how we can help them with that plan. So we potentially have 1 or 2 libraries we'd be working with next year after we complete the Vernon project. So what is also helpful with these survey results, it's a little bit what we've talked about before in terms of like, do we need a membership cap? How big could CCS get? Are we going to get too big? And as you can see, like this survey went to basically all of the libraries that are, if you kind of like drew a circle around our existing geographic service area, the survey went to all of those libraries. And, you know, we have 6 libraries that are potentially interested in CCS membership. Certainly things could change as directors turn over and communities change, but we're not looking at a situation where it's like, oh my gosh, CCS is like 75 members. What happened? So, you know, the geographic constraints of our service area kind of naturally give us what I think is a very manageable cap. So I was not surprised by these survey results, and I am interested to see how things progress with these various potential members.
Great. Any questions on anything related to membership? Okay.
Just a comment. I'm glad that you did this survey. I thought this information was really informative. So thank you.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. And innovative updates.
We are working towards the 7.7 upgrades. So there's a lot of great features in here that we are excited about, specifically that public service staff have been asking for since we went live on Polaris, around searching and filters and retaining filters between searches, so you don't have to relimit every time you do a search. So we are doing our QA now, CCS staff, and that is due at the end of this week. And then once that QA is complete, we will work with Innovative to select an upgrade date. We, as we've talked at length, have had performance issues that have been brought on by upgrades in the past. So the patch that Innovative provided to our system back in October has really resolved our issues. We have not seen another system down issue like we had seen prior since that patch has been applied. We've had like little hiccups, but nothing like, more like what we would expect is just sort of sometimes weird things happen as opposed to, oh gosh, every day is terrible. So Innovative did a great job on that patch. And we discussed previously with their development team, like, okay, but what about the next upgrade? Is something else going to break? So we will be working with development on that schedule, and they will set aside resources to monitor our system. And then again, have time blocked in the event that something does happen. They'll have development resources devoted to resolve it right away instead of months later. So we are cautiously optimistic that the upgrade will not introduce further issues, and if it does, that they will be resolved. And again, the features that are coming in this upgrade, I think, are really going to make some library staff pretty happy. So we do want to move forward with it as soon as reasonable and practical. So we'll be working on that. The Marchive replacement, we don't actually have an update on that. Our team meeting was postponed to tomorrow due to staff absences. We essentially have 2 potential options to move forward. One is to move forward with Marchive with Backstage, which can do all of the services. Another option would be to use 2 different services to like completely do all the things that Marchive does, which may be more hassle than it's worth. So we will make a determination later this week. We have Rails did get involved with the Marchive negotiations, because you may remember from governing board that they were like, oh, after January 1st, your pricing's all going to go away. They did extend that pricing guarantee a little bit after Rails stepped in and did some group level negotiations. So we'll see how everything shakes out with that. Questions about those before I move on to UX? A little rambly. Okay. And then I had hoped to send you the full UX report, but we're doing another round of revisions for clarity. but I do have a super brief summary I can share with you on the actual UX testing results. So again, this was looking at discovery layers, and it's one of multiple phases in bringing a recommendation to governing board on what to do about Power Pack now that development has slowed. So we had 20 users participate in user testing, and each of the 20 users used each of the following interfaces: Power Pack, Vega Discover, Aspen, which I wrote in my notes with the wrong name, and BiblioCore. So we have an extensive report with lots of, free text feedback and like quotes from their work, but I'm just going to give you this sort of quantitative info now. Each of the users was asked to select a favorite interface. And so of those 20 users, 8 said that BiblioCore was their favorite. Interestingly, 5 said that Power Pack was their favorite, and 5 said Discover, and 2 said that Aspen was their favorite. So BiblioCore was kind of the standout in terms of which one's your favorite. The users were also asked to give each interface a score. And actually, I sent this question to Gayatri this morning, Deborah, and I don't know if the score was 1 to 5 or 1 to 4. Regardless, BiblioCore, Vega Discover, and Power Pack all had a median score of 4, and Aspen had a median score of 3.5. So there's not a ton separating them in terms of user preference. When we look at like successful task completion, none of the interfaces had 100% task completion from all the users. So all of this is to say, as we move into phase 3 of like vendor demos and additional research into, working with vendors, gathering references, understanding the administration and like system components, we are going to keep BiblioCore, Vega Discover, and Aspen kind of in the running. Aspen did score the lowest, but a lot of the comments about Aspen were based on kind of like look and feel and like colors, which is less about like function. Was it out of 5?
It's out of 5, yeah.
Thank you. Deborah checked, and the score is out of 5. So nobody scored a perfect 5. Everyone had room for improvement. So we're looking forward to doing some more research on all of these. Again, we will release the report when it's once it's been revised. But we're looking forward to further investigation. And our goal is to have a recommendation for governing board in May. And then as far as what implementation would look like after that, it depends on which tool is selected, vendor timelines, budget, et cetera. But we should be able to plan for that. May deadline should give us time to plan for the next fiscal, if that's something we're going to move forward with a change in the next fiscal.
Any questions for Deborah? This is very exciting. See, Brian's got his hand up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some questions about this. Two questions. The first one's a stupid one, admittedly. Now, Power Pack is our existing catalog, right? Okay. So I just wanted to confirm that. So the 20 users, are they, who are they, or what's their profile? Are they existing like library users from our libraries, right?
Yeah, so they are existing users from our libraries. We worked with 3.
Was it Algonquin, Park Ridge, Lincolnwood, and Palatine, I think.
So we worked with libraries to recruit users, and the report has some information. I think there was a wide range of ages. I think it went from like 20 something to 80 something in terms of like the age of our users. So Gayatri did work to get a diverse kind of set of users, but they all are existing library users who do have some familiarity with Power Pack, and that comes out in the report as well.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was assuming, considering that Power Pack was scored, it did pretty well, all things considered.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
okay, that's that. Yeah, that was my question. Yeah, it would be interesting, and maybe this is not realistic. And I don't know anything about user testing or anything like that, so this is me spitballing. So just take it with the smallest grain of salt you can find. It would be interesting if we could recruit actually non-library users, even if you had to pay them,
Mhm.
to kind of see what someone coming in blind what they thought, because library users have their own biases, and I don't know. It just would be interesting. But once again, I have zero expertise in this area, so that's my comment. Do with it what you want.
It would be interesting.
Anything else on UX testing? Okay, well, I know we're all looking forward to reading that report. Ready to go. Okay, Deborah, anything on Find More?
Northbrook and Highland Park will launch Find More later this month. So their launch date is January 27th. So we're looking forward to that. We are still working with Rails to troubleshoot and test some of the outstanding issues that have kind of persisted over the last few months. So those are summarized in your packet on page 63. And then CCS, our team has kind of been working really hard on sort of next step for analyzing Find More usage. So Rachel Fisher is currently leading that project. So we've begun to kind of just operationalize collecting statistics for Find More, OCLC, Polaris activities, so we can kind of compare interlibrary activity across the interfaces. And that will help us prepare for 2026, when we'll bring this back to governing board to determine whether or not we should continue participating in the program. So again, we're gathering these data points every month, and we'll ingest them into a Tableau dashboard. That way we can kind of keep tabs monthly on activity across all of our libraries, and use that again to decide what's best for CCS.
Yep. And with the holidays and staff absences and some confusion around who was doing what, statistics were not in your packet, but we do have them now. They're on your screen, but I'll go ahead and send them out to the committee after this meeting as well. I know this is hard to read on the screen, so they will come to your inbox.
Any questions on Find More? Okay.
I have a question about I'm sorry. I have a question about Fenmore. Do we have any updates on, and maybe if you know the answer, that's fine. I'm just curious if there's any information. The idea was for this to grow and ideally be a whole like Illinois Libraries thing, because there's limited utility if it's just a certain set of libraries that we have now. So is there any progress or updates on recruiting new members for other libraries to join Find More in Illinois?
Not that I've heard recently. I know that Rails was doing some significant outreach to academic libraries because they know that that's a huge draw. That would encourage more publics to join as well. So I know that they were doing some outreach with Carly and some other academic institutions, but I have not heard an update on whether those outreach attempts were successful and they've recruited any new members as of late.
Yeah, we can
Can ask.
yeah, we can work to have a membership update for governing board on Find More.
No, that's fine. I didn't expect an answer. I just wanted to throw it out there because I think we all would. I shouldn't speak of everybody,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think that if especially with the academics, if you don't get more academics to join Find More, I'm as big a champion as anybody, but I'd be the first to say if you don't get the academics to join, then this is not going to go anywhere ultimately. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, Rails has been doing some, is anyone here on the Rails board? No. Rails did some reorganization. So now Find More had been like in IT essentially, under technology, but it's now under deals and discounts, which I think has a different name now, but so it's in Layla Heath's department. So I mean, Layla does a lot of work around partnerships and recruiting and negotiation. So I'm hoping that increases opportunity for outreach and membership planning.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, strategic planning.
Brian, I didn't email you ahead of time. Do you want to give an update? Do you want me to give an update? I should have been in touch with you, but it was the holidays and we're all a little.
I'm not necessarily prepared to give an update. You're probably
Okay.
more equipped than I am, so I
That's
will pitch in if you need me to.
okay. So long range planning met in December and reviewed our strategic planning survey results. So we did get 100% participation in the strategic plan survey. So thank you everyone for responding and for putting up with my repeated reminders. So our goal at that December meeting with long range planning was was a few things. Like one, determine if we need a consultant. So we had previously said if these survey results come back and like members are kind of all over the place in what they want, or things are really surprising, or folks are not satisfied, and we need like an outside facilitator, that we would bring one in. Previously, when we've done planning, the very short summary is like, keep doing what you're doing. And so it didn't seem worth it to bring in a consultant up top if that was what the membership was going to request. So we're a little bit in the middle. Not long range planning pretty much unanimously determined like we don't need a consultant. Members are very satisfied with CCS. There is a lot of interest in developing some additional services. So on the bottom of page 64, we talk about priorities and themes that we've identified. So at our February governing board meeting, we'll have a regular business meeting first, and then we will do like a mini strategic planning retreat that will be really focused on like service design and kind of digging into these priorities and what they mean to everyone, right? Because they're pretty broad in the survey. Like, oh, what do you think about like collective purchasing? So we're going to talk more about, where folks are interested in making compromises, right? Everyone's got an app already. So if we move to a system-wide app, someone's going to lose the app that they already have. So we're going to talk some more about that at the February meeting. So we'll have some structured activities to help us work through that, and then some plans to make sure we hear from everyone. Ahead of that meeting, I'll send out a more robust summary of the survey results for folks to review. I did include in your packet a couple of brief things. Overall, folks are really satisfied with Polaris. A little bit less satisfied around development progress and support and troubleshooting, but also very understandable based on how things have been. But nothing in either the strategic planning survey or the Polaris membership survey indicated that we would not renew our Polaris contract, which is what we had been planning anyway. So we are going to continue to move forward with that. And then, as you can see on page 65, the membership, everybody wants a data program. So we're going to talk a lot more about we've kind of already done a lot of that discussion with governing board, but we'll talk about that a little bit more, and then kind of dig into what does optimizing digital resource sharing mean? What does leveraging collective buying power mean? And some other questions with governing board. And our plan then would be that long range planning would synthesize all the information, draft a plan, and then that would go to governing board in May. So May will be a big meeting. We'll have budget, we'll have strategic plan, discovery layer. Mark your calendars for May. Ryan, anything that I missed of interest?
No, I think that was a great summary. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. And respond to that with your lunch selection. Thanks, Beth, for sending that out. Very nice. Options. Okay, we'll move on to reports. I do not have anything for the president's report. Lindsay, secretary's report.
No report. Only just to say to Rebecca and the team, just nice job. I really like the way that you have outlined the process, one for the discovery layer. I think it's super thorough. And then also the strategic planning. I think it's going to be a lot of fun on February. So great work.
Well said. Thank you, Lindsay. Treasurer's report.
No report.
Committees and groups, any questions or anything from the pages in our packet? Okay, and our executive director.
Is there any questions on anything in the packet that I didn't touch on? I'll just note that Molly Mansfield started in December, and we've been delighted to have her on board. She's diving right in and starting to answer tickets and get to work on some group projects within CCS. And then we did say goodbye to Virginia, but she will be starting again next week as a contractor up to 3 hours a week. So pretty significantly part-time to get us over our authorities hump while Rachel does her authorities training. So we wish Virginia all the best and are delighted that she's agreed to work with us to continue her authorities legacy here at CCS.
Very good. All right, any final questions, comments, concerns? All right, then I will make a motion to adjourn at 10:26.
I'll second. I'll
Ryan,
second.
second, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, wonderful, meeting adjourned. Okay.